Hey guys, welcome out to the channel. Today we are going to be working on a small engine. We had some good news the other night. We had some of our rabbits have some babies. You can't see them in there because they're buried in all the hay or all the fur. You might be able to see them moving around a little bit in there. And this was one of the other litters that we were expecting. So we had 2 litters the other night. We were totaling 20 little baby rabbits. But today what we're going to be working on is this Troy built. It's a Super Bronco rear tine tiller, and it was completely locked up. The handle has a little bit of pull to it, but nothing really that good. Started looking into it, and I decided to pull the camera out and see what we could find together as a team. So one of the first things that I noticed is that the drive pulley right here was kind of sticking. So you can see that it doesn't want to go. And I worked on that a little bit, spraying some PB Blast in the cable, and don't make a liar out of me. There we go. So now we got it so I can actually engage it by pulling on the actual handle. So that's what I was trying to accomplish to begin with, to make sure that I'd be able to engage this. And then I started just cleaning this up. It had a bunch of debris. You guys can still see there's a lot of debris in here just from where it gets used and not cleaned out correctly. So one of the first things I did was clean it up and then tried to move it, and it's stuck. I mean, the wheels aren't turning. And so the next thing that you want to try to do is figure out why it's not turning, and that is where you want to come up here, because this is like your crank, and we want to start to try to spin this and see if it's actually stuck or what else is going on with it. All right, so we got you guys set up on the tripod, and we're gonna put a 1/2-inch socket on this and see. All right, so this will actually turn. Let's see if we can get a full. Okay, so it's stopping right there. Let's try the other way. All right, so it's got a stopping point in here. So this only going not a full entire rotation leads me to there being a stuck valve that's in the down position and won't come up, allowing the little cam or whatever to actually fully rotate. So what we are going to do is take the valve cover off and see what is happening. So the valve cover is right here. I've taken 3 of the bolts out, and I need to take a 4th one out, but it's up on the top, and to do that I need to go ahead and get all of these removed. And we got 1/4-inch head on these little screws. And this being so old, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to spray everything with PB Blast and let it soak in. Alright, I had to go get a magnet tray so I don't lose any of these pieces, because I don't know how easy they would be to find anyway, even on the internet. Well, the bolts won't be hard. You can go down to your local hardware and get those. All right, so now we got the exhaust cover off, and hopefully we can get to, maybe we can get to that bolt head. Nope, that's not gonna work. So we're gonna have to take the exhaust off as well, and those are some Torx bits. All right, so what size do we think they are? Maybe a 30? Let's see, a T30. Yep, T30 Torx bit. We'll put an extension on there maybe. Alright, let's loosen these up. And there's only 2 that are being holding this on here. All right, let's get this knocked off, just like so. All right, now we can gain access. Let me see if I can see down in there while I'm rotating it and see what's going on. All right, so I think this exhaust one is the one that's stuck. From what it appears, that it does not want to spin, or I'm not seeing the little push rod move. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this cover off, and don't tear up any gaskets, because it'll be hard, and you also got to take time to wait for the delivery of them. Alright, so here we are. We have our exhaust right here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see this better. So we have your exhaust valve and your intake valve. And right now I can see that we can move. Oh, okay, so this is the, well, we can move that too. So let's rotate this again and see what is not moving. Might have to dig into this even deeper. I figured it was a valve that was stuck. There goes the intake. And that, the stem is moving. I wonder, why won't you go past the exhaust? So the intake goes fine. Oh, did we just get it broke free? Did we just break it free? Oh. Nope. So I thought it was gonna be a stuck valve, and it's obviously not. So I'm gonna start digging into it, tearing it apart until we can figure out why this is exactly stuck. And taking off the carb right now. It's gonna need to get cleaned anyway. And also a new fuel line, because this thing's like pretty much falling apart anyway. So we need to replace those. And we need to get this little guy out. So we need new carburetor, the choke works. This is the same kind of carburetor that was on that other tiller that we had, that I still haven't replaced the carburetor on, but it's running, so that's why I haven't really done anything with it yet. So we also need to get all this blown apart. We can take off the gas tank as well, because there's no fuel in it, and it'll lighten up the load, and also I'll be able to see multiple things even better, clean it out a little bit better. So I'm gonna take that off too. This is like what kind of junk. This was probably left in the woods or something like that for a little bit, so we're gonna blow all this off real quick. So one of the things that I want to check always before I keep on tearing into engines and stuff like that is, like, once I tear a piece off, I always want to test it. You don't know what kind of stupid thing might be getting in the way on a chainsaw, an Echo chainsaw. I have a video, a couple of them, where I was doing a repair, and it was like a very itty bitty piece of wood was in the reed switch of the chainsaw, and that was the reason why it wasn't staying running. So I don't know how in the world it had gotten down in there, but we've taken the gas tank off. we've cleaned up all this junk. I've blown out all over the engine, even in the sides, the back side. Everything's been cleaned, even cleaned out from around the wheels. And so what I'll go ahead and do right now is just go ahead and put the wrench back on it, and we'll just verify that it's still stuck. And it actually does not look like it's stuck anymore. I've got the intake movement. And there goes the exhaust valve. There goes the intake. There goes the exhaust. So I think I'm turning it the incorrect way. Maybe. There goes the intake. And there's the exhaust. Let's see if this will pull around. Well, it doesn't have good recoil on this, but look at that. It's not I might be able to take that cover off and clean up the recoil, but it's actually going in and out now. So before I go really too much further into the engine, I want to go ahead and start getting this carburetor taken apart and put into the cleaner so that it can get its work done as I'm doing more work on this thing with the transmission and stuff like that. I was just going to throw it in there, but I wanted to show you guys what this looks like before, so we can have a before and after shot, right? That's before, and hopefully after will be a lot better. Let's go ahead and throw this in and get this cleaned up. So one of the things I had to do on the side, not filming, is I had to replace the spring in here. The one, I kept on pulling it and it wouldn't return correctly, and it ended up that the actual spring was broken in there. So this is one of my parts mowers, and it fit perfect. So it's working now, just it doesn't have as long of as a pull, which is okay. But so we're gonna get the gas tank reinstalled and get a new fuel line, and hopefully by then the carburetor will be ready so that we can try to put it back on and try to see if this thing will actually run and fire over. Alright, so the carburetor is not yet ready to be pulled out and cleaned up, so we're going to start turning our attention to the axle part and figure out why this is not spinning. So it's completely locked, and I don't see any kind of cable that is supposed to like free it up or anything like that. So we're gonna try to get that back out of my way and try to just let's put this up in here. Maybe it'll stay up there. Probably not. Come on. Okay. So let's see here. This mower I don't think has like a or not mower. What am I talking about? So that is turning, and I don't think it's because of the tines being locked up, because the tines are off of the ground. Because this thing is all the way down. But what if alright, so that don't think there's any kind of brake system on here, but it's just not wanting to spin whatsoever. It may be the tine area that's holding it up. It may not be. We just got to, what I'm looking at is the tine area right now. Trying to see if something is keeping it from spinning. I'm getting a little bit of more movement, but I don't know if it's... So the tines are spinning now, which is good. Will it roll now? Maybe I broke it loose. Maybe just that little bit is what was holding it up. That would be nice because, yep, I believe that's what it is. So now, oh, maybe not. Maybe it does have to be engaged for it to actually go. So we've gotten the carburetor on and everything is back reattached. So we're gonna add some fuel. Make sure we aren't make sure we aren't gonna leak anywhere. All right, guys. So we got the choke is on. Fuel should be in that bowl. Let's give it a pull or two and see what happens. I might have to take this cover off and wind some of this rope up. May need a new cover. I think I got the pull rope situation figured out to where it's recoiling fine, and I ended up having to change the bowl back out to the old bowl. The new bowl that I was trying to use was a little bit too short and was actually holding the float upwards. So now let's go ahead and get this thing tried out. Oh, it started. So it runs. The carburetor, it was on choke and started dying, so obviously it's not getting enough fuel. That float and the bowl still might need to be all changed out. I mean, that's only like 20 bucks. Let's try this thing again. All right, so we just aren't getting enough fuel in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this rear cover back on. I've lost the bolt for it though. All right guys, so to help with the carburetor issue, I've got some of the highest quality painter's tape holding on this air filter because I just don't have a cover for this one. So I'm gonna end up having to find a cover for that. But what I wanna do is, we know that it's a running machine now, and now I want to find out if it's going to be a tilling machine. So I'm going to set you guys up a little crooked. Let me level you guys out, and we're going to go ahead and crank it up and see if this will go. Now this is actually a I guess maybe a one deal shot. You either are going with the wheels and the tines, or you're not moving at all. So I gotta be kind of careful, and we'll see what's gonna happen. Thing. All right, let's try this again. So what I have here is it's going to do the whole stuff, but I need to tighten up this cable because it's not pulling it far enough where I need it to. So let me work on that. And if you were curious, this is the adjustment I was making. I moved this up about 1/2 inch up those threads to get this cable a little bit tighter. I don't even know if I have this actually hooked up correct, but it's hooked up on this little bar, and then once you pull this forward, it swings it up, and that lever pulls that pulley. So let's go ahead and crank it up, and we'll try it again. All right, it's go time. Don't put your hand on the exhaust, it's hot. Because there may not be any fuel in it. There's a little bit, not much. So there you guys have it. The Troy built Super Bronco is up and running. Came in with possibly stuck wheels. I'm not sure if that was it or not. I do know now from running it around the yard a little bit, the only way to move this is to have the thing running, and you either have to pull it in forward or reverse. And this is nice because the backside, you have to put this all the way down, and it runs on the little runner in the very bottom. and said the tines don't tear up your yard while you're actually moving, but you don't have to lean it forward or use any kind of muscle to kind of get this around the yard. So it's got a decent little engine on there. It's the Intech IC 206. The spring in the front was shot, and we had to replace that, and it's missing the air filter cover, which kind of stinks. It would be nice to have that, but other than that, I'm gonna probably pull the carburetor off and replace the needle and the seat in there, and maybe let it soak a little bit longer. I was only able to let it soak for about 40 minutes before putting it on to finish up the video, so we could even see if this thing would run. But I like this. This is not a bad piece of machine. It's not anything compared to my Craftsman, because my Craftsman has the different gears, so you can drive it in forward without the tines running, or reverse as well. So it's a little bit safer, and the setup's a little bit better. Bigger engine on it. So thanks for watching today. As I tinkered around with this thing, I'm happy that I finally got it running. It's been sitting in my yard for about 2 weeks now, and I thought it was done. Once I tried to pull it and the engine seemed like it was stuck, I thought that this was a garbage tiller. And lo and behold, I haven't spent any money on it. Replaced the spring in the front from a parts mower, and may need a new carburetor that's like $15, maybe $20. And the tiller itself cost me $20, which is not bad. So I gotta find the cover, maybe a new carburetor, and I'll have maybe $50 in it, and probably resell it for $125, $150. So yeah, not a bad deal. So thanks guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Hope you guys get out there and start repairing your own engines. Thanks for watching, and if you guys are new, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll see you guys on the next video.